Game number 2, HYG upper game swapping over to the blue side. OMG going to go ahead and get last pick here instead of first pick, but the bans have started. Misfortune for HYG, and OMG have gone for Rise once again.
Yeah, getting rid of the Rise and Misfortune is something you should be very used to seeing by now. Of course, a lot of other champions tend to follow. Lulu, another one worth considering. Trundle, Gangplank, also usually taken away. And Poppy.
Yeah, that Poppy actually dropped through the draft last time, I believe, but is going to get banned here by HYG. So he didn't pick it, but clearly respect the power of the champion. Lulu going to be the next ban there for OMG. I wonder if we'll see another support ban here for OMG. Probably not, is going to be my guess. But that was sort of a quirk of their draft in Game 1. They did ban Alistar away from Hyper Youth Gaming. It's actually their first ban.
It was their first ban, yeah. So the question will be always raised, now that the first pick is for Hyper Youth Gaming, do you value the support as highly? Because second rotation, Alistar Lissandra is amazing.
Yep.
Whereas first rotation, you want to be taking the single strongest champion, generally not going to be Alistar.
Rek'Sai actually the ban for HYG. And you mentioned Lissandra, that's another champion they could consider putting on the bench for this game, but Gangplank is going to be the last one from OMG. Don't want to see that one again. HYG banned it on the roadside last time, so OMG will retaliate in kind, I suppose, and make sure that champion stays off the rift. But of course, that does leave open that strong Lissandra. We saw it from S17, looks great on it. I'm sure Gosu can play it as well. And they're hovering it right now. You have to think it's a perfectly good first pick.
It certainly is, of course. Being able to flex absolutely everywhere is the biggest merit that you get from having Lissandra. There's not a crazy amount of champions that you would prefer over this Lissandra as a first rotation. Going for Mundo sets yourself up for building a comp around it. And instead, you know what? They just want it.
Well, we didn't have any Mundos in the last game. It was another champion that notably dropped through the draft. But they do take Lissandra for themselves. See if S17 wants to play it again.
I like this.
Like this from OMG. Yeah, at least in Alistar. Take away with one of these supports. Haven't locked him in just yet here, but OMG have made a couple of changes as well. Xiang is hanging out in the top lane. Ooh, maybe a deny pick as well. OMG have to think pretty carefully about these first two picks. We saw HYG get great draft picks on this side. There is at least going to be Lee Sin locked in though.
Yeah, it seems like Fishbowl very proficient on this Lee Sin and would prefer it almost above all else. So he does lock that one away for himself. And of course the Alistar is to follow right now for OMG.
Yep, so you mentioned you like the pick. Perfectly good. Alistar's seen a lot of play. Actually, it's been, I think, 100% pick or ban so far this week in the LPL, so very popular. But we do have plenty of stuff open still for HYG. And again, I think the interesting thing about having so many different good champions isn't necessarily, well, I can just pick the good ones. It's like, how do you build around these powerful champions? Because like you said, Mundo's a great champion, but you do have to build your team around him. There's Graves Callisto.
Yeah, picking the Mundo early is generally a favor for the enemy team as they can default to the Lucians and Vaynes essentially that do a whole lot of damage to Mundo, opposed to the Ezreals and Corkis that start to taper off as the game continues on. So good decision here from Hyper Youth Gaming. They've decided to go for the Graves in the jungle, which is, again, early pressure, something that both junglers in these games have decided they want to be a part in, or take part in doing. And they picked up the Kalista again for XQ, who MVP-worthy performance.
And there's Tahm Kench. It could be anywhere, really, but probably Xiang's champion, given that Alistar's already locked in. And just considering that KD carry is going to be Tristana for SMLZ.
I actually like the Tristana a lot. It indicates, of course, that they're looking for siege/dive compositions. If you have a look at the team comp that OMG have put together right now, Alistar, Tahm Kench, that's gross.
That is gross.
It's impossible to kill two of their champions already. Tristana can get resets. If it doesn't get a reset, then you can just eat the Tristana and waddle away.
You certainly can. I do like this as well from HYG. Just flashing that Lux at cool.
I hope it's a taunt.
I hope he just locks it in. Gosu's like, let's do it.
Let's dance.
We've seen this a couple times actually already in the LPL. I think it was MLXG that might have done it on the Graves against EDG in that first game. But we'll see what HYG do want to pick. I have to imagine that Lux, at least for now, is just a little bit of fun being poked at it. Cool. And of course, we did see the Thresh deny away from Shu in Game 1 as well. It was actually OMG's first overall pick in their last draft, so wouldn't be too surprising to see Shu go back to that here. It seems to be a default pick for him. And there it is. Actually, is the Lux as well. Wow. So the Thresh I did expect, but the Lux I didn't quite. Yeah. Thresh Lux are the last picks here for HYG.
Yeah, the Lux is a big surprise. It's almost Gosu saying, well, you know what, you pick Lux. Let me show you how to actually play Lux. I'm going to lock that one in myself. And It does make sense. They wanted to have the Lissandra go top lane. They know it should be the Tahm Kench that he is up against. So very easy, or much easier lane for a Lissandra than any other top lane champion, such as the Fioras that are not ranged. They struggle a lot in that particular matchup. Good decision all around from HYG. I like their draft again.
I do, as well as OMG are at least considering their last pick here. I mentioned Ari as a comfort pick for Cool. It would not surprise me at all. But they've got 15 seconds to decide if they really want to take this pick.
It's good in the Lux.
Yep, does know the matchup. Would be just fine here. And Cool, a veteran player, has a lot of famous champions in that champion pool. It seems like he might just be going back to them. Lux didn't work out for him in Game 1. We'll see if Ari works out here in Game 2, but if for any veteran LPL fans, this will be a treat.
Definitely will be.
Oh, no, he didn't troll me. I thought they changed it, but it's just Ari still swapping that back over to the mid laner.
No, they didn't last second change to Alistar to confuse you or anything. Ari added to the fray at the moment for this OMG side. Does give them a lot of needed wave clear that they were otherwise missing. Unfortunately, that means that Ari does need to stay with the team at all times if there's any sieging going on from HYG, as their team comp is pretty much designed to kill you very quickly.
I'm actually somewhat surprised we haven't seen more Ari, but he hasn't caught on yet. I don't know, maybe it's awful, but certainly a champion that Cool's comfortable with. So let's round down these lineups. Lissandra in the top side there for HYG. Graves, Lux, Kalista, and Thresh. And then Tahm Kench, Lee Sin, Ari, Tristana, and Alistar for OMG. This feels like a little bit cleaner of an OMG draft. Very focused. 2 good carries, 2 good tanks, an aggressive jungler to tie it all together. Looking good.
It sums up the meta perfectly, doesn't it? Aggression, tankiness, and then a strong scaling backline is basically how it runs at the moment, and that is what both of these teams have essentially put together.
Yeah, we see the lineups here again. Can of course see that we've got, stuff like the Graves hanging out. It's going to be a little bit different for HYG.
It certainly will be. Graves has the option of being overly aggressive, making some invades. MLXG has shown us is capable of doing so.
Well, let's get in a game. And here we are for game number 2 between HYG and OMG. Hyper Youth Gaming currently up a game against the Chinese veteran organization, Oh My God, who have not had a particularly good start for them to the 2016 LPL season. But Cool is back on a comfort champion. We'll see if the youngsters and new blood can upset, or if OMG can continue to take a very fresh roster and bring it to a game number 3.
The most comfortable of champions, of course, for Cool, and in very comfortable matchup, to say the least. If anyone's played in Season 2, it's basically all you saw with the zigs here and there. So, should be quite good for Cool in this, and honestly, he should be doing very well in this matchup in the 1v1.
Well, he's going to have to do well. Cool is pretty much the player on this team as far as star power, talent, and experience all goes. So, we've talked about this team being built around him. They're his teammates. He's going to have to pull up big on this champion. Xiang is in as well, so that's the other change that OMG did make between games. They've brought him in for top lane. He's actually on Tahm Kench this particular game. But we are going to have what looks like a lane swap, although HYG seem to have spotted this out already. Xiang and Fishbolt going to do some double jungling, but we're going to have 4 people in the top lane before long.
We are playing the Australian lane.
We are.
Of course, we've got the lanes down under. 4 people in the top lane is always interesting. I actually expected a lot more of this in the current patch, solely because there is a Rift Herald to continue to control the map with. So you take the top lane turret, or you just lane 2v2, the second one person wins that lane, go do the Rift Herald, come back with the buff, and you're in complete control of the lane. Yep,
we haven't seen too much Rift Herald, unfortunately. We've seen him a couple of times, but hasn't been taken too many this week.
Lucky Herald.
We'll see if the teams can improve on that. Or even if it's maybe something they're not looking to just yet. We do, of course, have 2v2 in the top lane, though. Kalista Thresh, again, another strong Kalista lane here. Probably even stronger, actually, for HYG. And Tristana outside is going to chill out for a bit, as they do have level 2s hit already for all the champions in top, actually. But here's Ghost, who's going to have, I guess, the champion that Cool took in the last game. It's not the same matchup, but he's going to be playing the Lux, this time into Cool's Ari.
Graves is just so good at kiting in the jungle at the moment, as we've got both of the junglers on the same side of the map, working towards their duo lane, which is very standard as the combos come in up to XQ.
Good damage, actually. One more hit. Not quite going to get that all stacked all the way up, but XQ takes a lot of damage as a result, and Fishball's up here as well.
So very well timed. Ooh, dodges the Sentinel. He's not going to be spotted.
Well, he's going to slap
just
it,
going to slap it.
So now they know, but they've pinged it. He took the 10 gold, but it might be too late. XQ probably going to have to burn a summoner. Q does land, does use the flash. Play will miss, though. But that's going to be Kalista off to safety.
That was such a needless flash. He stopped to kill the Sentinel and then still got a gank off on you because you didn't leave. The immediate response is going to come out from March, though, who's got the flank. He's there.
And one binding flash straight into the face for Gosu. Damage is there. Huge damage from the end of the line. And first blood goes to Gosu.
And that's how you play Lux Cool. And that is how you flash and hit your Q. They find a very easy first blood for HYG. It does go into Lux's hands as well. And Gosu, we know what he can do with money. And we'll see if he can do it again.
Good juke of the hook there from Fishball's going to have to get out, though. Will safeguard away to that Trinket Ward, but after the Krugs he goes. He's going to lose that Scuttle Crab, though, to Kalista. So unhappy to not get that objective here. And March with a great little gank. We saw this a lot from MLXG against poor EasyHoon. This constantly kept happening. He would wrap around the back of mid lane. And Graves might not have that much CC, but boy, does he do a lot of damage.
If he actually gets onto you and does damage as XQ one more time.
Yeah, damage is there again. Alistar combo is good. Fishball also made his way back in. Not going to go for the Sentinel this time. Jukes the hook, though, as March is up here as well with a nice little safeguard. But Graves just here to support at this point. No kills happening this time.
Fishball knows what he's doing on this Lee Sin. That is for certain. Of course, having forced the ward out of him earlier to get out of the Rift Herald or the Baron Pit area. I don't know what it's called before 20. Do you prefer? I don't know. Just
I think
Baron
it's
Pit?
still the Baron Pit.
Just the pit.
Harold just like rents the space.
Yeah, okay.
It's like Baron's land.
So it's still
He
Baron's
owns it.
pit. All
Yeah.
right. Lord Baron of the pit. My bad. All right. He does. Okay, the ward was used at Baron Pit area.
Yep.
That's the point. I'm going to leave it at that. Forgot where I was going.
That's fine. March is up here in the top lane, actually waiting for this 2v3. And SMLZ does not know. Shu now going to walk up. Damage is good. 5 could be caught, but does flash. Hook will go missing as a result, but someone has used there. Nice little gank there from March.
Interesting target selection as well from March. They opt into going for the person without any kind of mobility. In the Alistar, they force the flash out of him, and before level 6, still going to be quite easy to kill him.
Yep, pretty good target there as Fishball does walk past the pink ward. Doesn't spot it by the looks of things. Oh, going to go back for it. Has seen it there. But was looking to get aggressive in this side of the jungle. Unlikely to get a gank off in the mid. Seems like Ghost is actually holding that wave pretty far down. And she's going to go in S17, sorry. Also hanging out on the bottom side. But Lissandra, sort of as expected, double Dawn's Corrupting Potion. Ahead on a few CS, just shoving that winning waves constantly under the turret.
Yeah, this is such an oppressive top lane. Tristana is able to put down so much damage onto a Kalista. At this stage, and this early in the game, there is no response for XQ besides all-inning and getting a prolonged trade out there. As these two in the middle lane, Cool definitely should have control, but considering he's already died, and it's 2 Dorans to the makings of that Frost Queens. Hi, March.
Yep, walking back in again. Going to help out with the wave. Cool actually gets a creep out of it as well. Seems like it must be back time here for Gosu. Cool's going to pull the wave, though, and try and leave it as far back as possible. As we do see Gosu is hitting that recall button, going back home. Does have the Frostfang done already. Might be going towards Frostgood's claim nice and quickly, and there's the Fiendish Codex.
Yeah, not far away from the Frost Queen's claim, that is for certain. A very cost-efficient item, very cheap to get, gives you all of the stats that you require as a Lux, and very good for helping you wave clear and not being caught on a low mobility champion, as Zhang is struggling in this 1v1 at the moment. 17 is just keeping tabs on him at all times.
And again, started to fall behind again. Another CS lead being built here by Lissandra. Different player this time, but again, Lissandra into melee. And 17 seems to have the matchup down pat as Boots of Swiftness are the first pick up here for Xiang. But 17 is going to go back with a pretty big bundle of gold to spend. You can see more creeps being denied against this tower as well.
Boots of Swiftness are just so good.
Yeah, I feel like we haven't seen as many as we expected, actually.
There was a couple games where you would see at least 3, but they're picked for a particular reason, right? They're so cheap that you may as well get them. Firstly, it's 300 gold cheaper than most of the other boots besides mobility and lucidity from memory. So getting the resistance boots actually cost a lot, and you don't want to get them. So if you don't need the tenacity and you only need the slow resistance, just go for it.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. As Cool does pick up his blue buff. S17 still hasn't gone back because this is a very adorable lane swap. They actually know that the swap back has happened as well as Gosu is getting aggressed on by Fishball, but SMLZ is in so much trouble. Flash forward there, ulti out as well, and good night as S17 collects the kill.
That's going to give him nightmares. That was so easily done and executed on, as well as the 3 members now just going to push down this bottom lane turret. Lee Sin is not even close enough, and hello.
Yep, maybe going to get eaten here. Does pop the heal, but still gets devoured. Xiang going to keep doing the damage. Tumkin just so much after he eats you, and Kalista trying to hop away. That's a decent flash, but Xiang flashes in and gets the last auto.
Try as you might, XQ. There's no getting away from the catfish because he is the stickiest catfish in the entire world. Just gobbles him up, takes him out. It was almost too easy.
Yep, certainly looks like that on 2 different ends of the map here, as we did have the tower go down as well. So Hyper Youth Gaming, couple kills on either side for each team, but HYG up almost 2,000 gold just on that early turret take here, looking to take over early.
Yeah, just straight up came down to taking the turrets. The only key difference between the two. March, 0-0 and 2 assists at the moment, is starting to get a little bit ahead of Fishbowl, especially if you want to consider the farm difference between the two. I would wager that March is due for a recall, though, because he'll have some items to get.
Yep, doesn't have too many right now, but he's going to take the Raptors, go back after clearing a ward. Graves is mortal enemy. And then, actually, mate, looks like he's going to still jungle. Ghosty might want that blue buff here. Shu on the top side here, a lot of pings. Xiang knows he's in trouble, but I think he's just going to complete the recall. No, gets warded out, flayed back as well. The hook does land there, and Xiang going to have to try and pop that grey health at the right moment, but the CC is there. Does get snared up again by Ring of Frost, and that's going to be a kill for XQ. Now Gosu in the middle lane. Fishball's going to dive in for it. Cool dives in there as well. The barrier's popped, the ulti's out. He's trying to do some damage, but Cool's dashed out, and he does get the kill.
The Lux Laser was not in a position where he was hoping it would go. Didn't get anybody or clear the minions with it, and nobody from OMG does go down, except for Xiang in the top lane, because both of these teams are just rotating around their map and finding people out of position constantly.
Yeah, we thought the early game from the first game was aggressive, but there's even more skirmishing and ganking happening in this particular one, and the towers are starting to drop incredibly quickly as well. Justana, exceptionally good at taking turrets, should be able to claim this one, and all of a sudden it'll be 2-1 in turrets as soon as OMG get this bottom outer.
Yeah, and the gold's definitely still remaining in favor of HYG, all things considered, even when this turret goes down. The biggest difference between the two at the moment has to be the farm on the AD carries. It's starting to get a little bit out of control. On the flip side, Lissandra putting in overtime right now, getting himself further ahead of the Tahm Kench of Xiang. So we'll have to see how both of them on opposite sides of the map actually impact one another.
Well, Gosu does get the blue buff, so going to be back to wave clear mode here for Lux. And we did have the same build here again for S17, but he's changed the order up ever so slightly. He's got the Catalyst. He'll be going for that Rod of Ages, you have to think. But those Distortion Boots with the Lucidity that he seems to like so much have actually already been completed.
Yeah, very aggressive decision. And again, it promotes how much emphasis he's putting on the teleporting and on trying to just stay in laning phase. But every single time he's come back to laning phase, he's found a pick, he's found a kill, and then he's just left to clear the wave, then recall. So he hasn't really found an opportunity to use the teleport in an offensive manner. You might question it, but at this stage, everything has started to settle down one more time, and you will find a lot of merit towards that item build.
We'll have to see what these lanes do settle back in, as mid lane's been the only really consistent one at this point. SMLZ moving around pretty aggressively. He's got a pickaxe and a BF sword plus a dagger, and you can see OMG have one pretty clear plan here. Use what Tristana's best for, and that's knock down structures as quickly as possible. S17 may have caught someone out, but Fishbowl does steal the Grump away. And March is now onto the Dragon, soloing it at this point in the game. Shouldn't be too difficult for him, but
he doesn't take damage.
These towers are falling.
He's got so much damage onto a single target, March, especially a Dragon that you can stand directly next to, that he barely loses health at all. Well, there you go.
You can see Dragon does go down, but towers are starting to fall as OMG equalize 2-2. They've taken the... both outer lane turrets there in top and bottom. And SMLZ, again, one purpose here, even going for Zeal now. Maybe to even increase that early game pressure. Have to think they want to try and group mid, but Ghosty's wave clear could prove problematic. Cool gets nailed by a binding. Ulti out there from Graves as well. Auto. And very barely misses the kill on Cool.
Not getting the auto attack off Gosu, of course, getting charmed. Cool saves himself by hitting the skill shot this time, but only barely as the numbers are here in the middle lane.
5 good initiation, does get hooked out. Will cleanse it off there with his ulti. Unbreakable Will now snared up again there as SMLZ actually gets caught in the binding as well. But HYG going to continue applying pressure. No kills just yet. But that was incredibly well coordinated by Gosu and March.
definitely was. They were so close to getting their target. Of course, Cool doesn't have his ultimate. He's on his way back now, and all 5 members of OMG are here to defend. They may want to engage.
Good hook there. Shu going to land one in, but Xiang will devour the Lee Sin to save him. March taking a bit of damage from Trist as the shield from Gosu is going to help out. Gosu, plenty of mana here. Here comes S17 for quite a flank, but Xiang is going to spot him. Does eat the Q for the slow. Misses the tongue lash, though. And that might diffuse the situation in mid, although HYG are not done yet.
No, this turret should be going down. They've got Lissandra still flanking as we speak.
And that blue buff that Cool wants, he's not going to get just yet. Actually, Fishball was there taking it out as Shu is going to come back in. S17 in prime position as well. And just a little scatter there from OMG. They'll lose that mid turret. In fact, they might lose more. Going in there for S17. Cool. It's going to get ultied up. Huge Lux ulti over the top as well. But it's not quite enough damage. Fishball might be coming back in. The Lantern's there after the charm wears off. HYG get aggressive, but they might not lose anyone. Ulti up from Callista's going to save one. Good knock up there from 5, though. Fishball going to get 1 kill onto S17. Now Mud trying to kite around, but SMLs is going off there on the left-hand side of the screen. He'll get the double as Graves goes down. Gosu going to make it the next one there as well, but he's taking out Fishball. Lands the binding. Xiang takes him out as SMLZ, I believe, gets credit for the kill. And that's a triple for Tristan, an ace for OMG.
And OMG get the team fight that they needed. HYG had no reason to continue to stay there. Over-aggressive, trying to get a pick onto Cool, who didn't have his ultimate available. They fought for long enough that he definitely did have it available. Lux uses the laser, Lissandra uses the ultimate, and the charm connects. All they have to do is try and recall here. Problem is, Xiang's got the flank and is slowing them down. SMLZ jumps over, and 5 gets the engage with the Alistar, and this is where it all crumbles. It was such a good attempt to stay alive, Shu, but all he does is give Tristana a reset on that rocket jump by going in. Lights out.
And good cleanup there from OMG as that gold lead is all but equalized now. HYG do find themselves about 400 gold ahead, but SMLZ, who was the big carry in this game, getting gold early. 3-1-1, 125 CS, and Infinity Edge Zeal is done.
Yeah, that's big. From the components of an Infinity Edge with a Zeal to having the whole Infinity Edge, even working towards some magic resistance, you would say the QSS has just been picked up from him as well. That's a very scary Tristana, and that is a big lead.
Gosu's bindings are on point, though. Cool throws the charm out again. But lucky to be alive. No much this time off for it, but these bindings are on point.
I was going to say, he's got the ghosts available. It does, funnily enough, force Cool's ghosts out straight away, so there's no chance of chasing. But if you get in a position to be threatening as Lux, and you throw the ghosts out so they're slowed and in range, you could force spells out of Cool just to run away.
Yep, and can see Cool barely escaping that time again, but does get out from under it. Seems like Gosu, again, we expected the matchup to be relatively good here for the Ahri, but Gosu is just nailing every single binding.
Yeah, absolutely. Gosu's putting in work. This mid laner is showing he has what it takes. Unique item build here from Gosu, I would have to say, is going for a Rod of Ages after finishing a full first item. So you're looking at like 17 minutes potentially if the farm continues on track for him by the time he actually gets the Rod of Ages there. I don't know. I understand the need for the Frost Queen's claim. It's such a great item, but you're delaying your power spikes.
And we do see blue buff being picked up by Gosu again. And we've seen this a little bit. We saw Lissandra do it again in an earlier series today. Gosu just going to wave clear that down. Did pick up the Rift Herald buff as well, as they did take out. Rod. I mean, that's decent timing, but a little late on your first item Motivator's timing. And again, it pays off, but as the rod does come out. But delaying the game does mean that HYG must feel comfortable just taking this a little bit slower.
Yeah. So Rod's cost efficient to get the second you actually purchase it, but it becomes infinitely more cost efficient as time goes on. So they want to wait, they want to actually bide their time, let it stack a little bit more so you become naturally far more efficient with your little amount of items. Frost Queen's Rod of Ages, if you have them both at a decent time, is amazingly efficient to get.
And 16.5 minutes, probably pretty decent there for Gosu. That's about what he got it at. We do see Blade of the Ruined King also completed up for XQ. And we do have the Rod of Ages done also for S17, who snuck that one in there. So everything looking good for these early items. But remember, SMLZ also looking good as LMG. 2 items also coming in. And Fishball, good flash. Gonna have to get out of the way. Teleport coming in. The Q does miss, though. Now S17 going to come in. Fishball's dead as XQ gets that first kill. SMLZ now in a whole host of trouble as Lissandra clips herself across that wall. Good buster shot, but it's not going to be enough here. End of the line is that indeed as XQ gets another kill.
They just have so much burst on this HYG team composition. OMG, they're looking to make a trade in response here. And it's definitely a worthwhile trade for them because they get some money across the board. The problem is they're losing control of the entire map solely on the fact that they're just dying. Like, there is so much burst, and HYG are a side that just seem to coincide with the Dragon.
And if we thought that the first game, was maybe a little bit inconsistent for HYG, it's been much cleaner. Apart from maybe the fumble around OMG's blue buff, the aggression, the fighting, the skirmishing has been on point. And it feels like they just took what they did in game one, said, how can we do this a bit better, and have refined it already moving into this game. They're ahead a little bit, but the momentum of the game just feels like it's all theirs.
Yeah, they upped the tempo, that's for sure, and it's a tempo that they're looking to put into place. My biggest concern right now is if Cool continues to stay in the side lane and not Jiang, as they are smartly swapping right now, then HYG could have just walked down middle and just said, well, this is all ours now, you don't have wave clear.
Yep, I don't want to do that, so instead...
That was a freeze, by the way, for XQ. Very cute stuff from 17.
Yeah, again, he seems like the very utility-style top laner almost. He's got a fairly supportive build. He's, managing waves very nicely, even leaving one there for his team. Gosu's just busy wave clearing again in mid lane, happily collecting farm.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's all we should be seeing a Lux do. Ari's the one that needs to try and make something happen in this lane if he wants to start becoming a big threat for his team. If you just let the Lux sit back and you're not being aggressive, Cool's not being aggressive, then Lux actually starts to get a little bit carried away with this game.
Yeah, you can see Abyssal done for Cool, but hasn't really made too many plays just yet. We've got a Randuin's on the way for Fishbowl. But a bit more aggression there from March, actually, on the Graves, which is, I guess, expected.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Graves' smoke screen just reduced the vision of that pink ward.
I think it might have. I believe that works.
Really cool.
That is cool. Well,
That's really cool.
17 going to get away from Xiang. He's got 2 items now, actually, so pretty tanky. The Swiftness Boot's going to help him stay in the back of those fights, right on top of the carries where he wants to be. And QSS is done now for SMLZ. So, again, OMG have the tools to fight here, but 5's going to eat a binding. That's all he really is going to have to deal with, thankfully. But HYG, again, just still in control, still keeping that tempo nice and quick.
And working around the top side of the map. Baron is up in 10 seconds. I don't think it's what they're going to go for. Time Kench.
Oh, they've actually maybe found one. Nope, Lantern's going to deny that. Time Kench moving into the middle to collapse. OMG might just push down the mid lane now.
Thresh could still be caught here.
Yep, she has to be careful. Again, dodging the ghosts, or dodging the tongue after those ghosts. Lee Sin going to get 2 actually on the hook there for some extra value. Xiang, though, pretty impossible to kill. And S17 does not have his teleport just yet, so Hyper-Youth Gaming can't commit to a full-on fight.
This is the beauty of the team comp that HYG have put in place one more time. Goes to out of position. Well, he's got a Thresh Lantern. Thresh can then put himself out of position and have the Kalista ultimate as a threatening disengage tool once again. It's not easy for OMG to actually make anything happen at all on this map.
And meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Cool is going to get the blue. Ooh, barely misses the steal there for Gosu. But S17's just causing problems and pushing these waves out again. Xiang's probably never going to die at this point to Lissandra, but it takes him a little longer to clear waves. S17 can still continue to move around the map and make sure to keep the waves in their favor. SMLZ is busy in a side lane, by the way. He is just trying to farm up as quickly as he can to 3 items.
That's exactly what he's doing, and that is a massive CS lead if ever I've seen one. 50 the difference, yeah. That is monstrous. I mean, OMG is not necessarily resting on the back of SMLZ and his carrying capabilities, but he's going to be a big, big factor in them winning or losing this game. And really, we said this at the start of the first game, SMLZ should beat Tristana in every single game.
He should. He's very confident on it. We've mentioned that he likes his comfort picks. Again, had another good laning phase on Lucian. Had another great laning phase here. He's even further ahead now on Trist than he was on Lucian. But he doesn't always deliver the late game carry performances. So he's set up to carry here alongside Cool's Ari, who's also pretty comfortable on farm and has a decent lead up against Gosu. But it just feels like OMG don't quite know what to do at this point. We have slowed down a bit, almost 22 minutes into this game. Seems like we're looking for the next maybe 2 to 3 items now for some of these champions.
So this is a good time for OMG to actually find a point of power. They've got 2 completed items on most of these champions, and only the 2 completed items. So gold efficiency actually suits OMG to fight right now. You have a look at the flip side, they're 1.5, maybe 1 3/4 items. Some of them have 2 cheap items. So they're not entirely in a position to fight. They may be taking their time waiting for someone to say, all right, we're good to go, let's go. This is where OMG can just say, we're just going.
And Xiang actually is going to go for the tower dive maybe. Nope, just take a couple tower hits. S17 can't really do anything, so Xiang going to continue to be annoying. Fishbowl does eat a light binding there, but Raptors do go over as they'll get the successful counter jungle. But again, HYG just not really in a rush. They've got 2 Maidens with great wave clear.
Yeah.
Just kind of sit here and farm.
Jiang does have a lot of pressure in this lane, but really there's nothing he can do because Lissandra is pretty much designed to be utility in wave clear. XQ is going to do the same thing with that Runan's Hurricane, and Lux is going to do the exact same thing in the middle lane.
Actually looking for a chase now. Hook is going to look for someone. SMLZ is a good target, but can't quite land it. Going to flash in, looks for the flay, finds it. SMLZ, great QSS off as he gets headbutted back over the ridge. Now a teleport going to come in at Xiang that's going to complete it. Cool, looking for a pick here, needs one of the carries. Xiang straight on top of XQ as Gosu, trying to peel away, misses the ulti and the binding though as Fishbowl gets eaten up, kicks him back in, looking for the 1v1, doesn't quite get it as Fishbowl does go down, but S17, he's caught in the middle of the team as Thresh gets that one. 4v4 right now as the Ghosts are popped.
They managed to keep March alive by the smallest amount of health. Of course, XQ and everyone was dealing with Fishbowl, while 17 was dealing with all of the OMG side as well. So they find themselves trading, honestly, in a fight that should have gone OMG's way 100%, because they get the disengage. It's perfect. Shia goes way too over-aggressive. QSS is forced, that's great, and Tristan actually knocks him to safety. The teleports come out in response, but 17 is so far out that you can't even see him on the map whilst they're all still fighting. Xiang goes in, Gosu decides he wants to miss everything, and just doesn't quite hit. And this is where March stays alive from more of Malmortius. It increases life stealing below 20% health.
Well, looking good there as we do have another fight breaking out over the Dragon this time around. HYG do already have 2. OMG do not have 1 just yet. And again, HYG have looked good around the Dragon. Fishbowl is not going to eat that hook much, so he's going to go straight in for him.
That is some real damage. 40 health.
Xiang does get it, though. Laser barely misses the Dragon Steel there for Gosu, as that will be OMG's first Dragon, I believe, of the series at this particular point. Abyssal Voyage used, though. Hook is going to land, but Xiang, pretty hard to kill. They are going to go in, maybe. Nope.
They're not looking for Xiang. They're looking for Cool. He doesn't have any wave clear, Xiang. He just kind of sits there and...
He's annoying.
I'm a big tank.
That hook was close, but Cool does ulti out of the way. Gosu keeping them back there with Lux. They can kite very well with this team comp. But 5 is trying to get aggressive. Might get hooked again. Fishbowl looking for the kick. Finds it onto XQ. Knocks out Shu there as well, but he is down. And XQ again gets a kill. Now 5v4.
Fishbowl is trying his best to engage for the team. He flashed and didn't actually kick anyone and had no one to kick them towards. As honestly, a big mistake and oversight from him. They look like they want the Baron.
It's so much more decisive for HYG as well. It just feels like, again, they're getting into better situations. OMG are arguably making more mistakes, but HYG are just every decision very, very confident now. Feels like they needed 1 game to warm up, and they're looking great now on top of this Baron buff, which is dead. Kalista will never miss this, pretty much.
So many spears
Goodbye.
in his neck.
Oh, Xiang's like, hi guys, how are you? And they're like, hey, we'll fight you. SMLZ on the other side, though, onto Gosu could be the problem. XQ gets another kill there. Is Xiang actually dead? But SMLZ going off on the other side. Gosu needs to be careful. Shu, he's dead. That's the reset. Now Gosu gonna have to keep cutting around. 5 has so many spears in him, but SMLZ is gonna come in. Gosu moves in for the rend. He gets the double, but March collects him in 5. He barely lived after that rend.
HYG, they look like they're done, but OMG don't. Here it is.
Cool looking for it. Huge damage there from the Ari, and that's an easy kill for Cool.
He manages to get out with the Baron buff, though, March. He's man standing. Thankfully, they do still have the Baron, and they secured the Baron. So, not a bad trade overall if you want to consider. HYG have even got really good wave control. The bottom side of the map, in the bottom lane, they just found themselves a turret for basically nothing. And now they're able to reset because OMG have to go back and defend.
I'm telling you, man, Gardner S17 has been pruning those waves all game long on this Lissandra. So I'm going to watch this again.
So I'm not sure which. We're watching Cool actually explode someone out of the entire fight. That was a lot of damage, yeah. Pretty easy done to take him down. A lot of items completed here from Cool with his death cap. He's prioritizing his damage above all else.
Yep, didn't have it in the last fight. Will have it now, and he saw how quickly XQ fell there. So he's going to get a blue buff. Cool, as always, set up nicely in this game. He's got a massive CS lead as well, even though Gosu does have death cap and some Swifties. I actually really like those choices.
I definitely do as well. It's very smart against a Tahm Kench in particular. Lee Sin, of course, having the Tempest and Cripple. There's a lot of things that are going to be slowing, and most of the crowd control is actually just knockups anyway, really. Lee Sin, Kick, Alistar, Pulverize are the 2 big factors to consider. So, Swifties, probably the ideal choice here.
17 going to get out of the way. Xiang is just continuing to pester him. in that bottom side. Cool. Hopsy's Frost Queens. Looks for March. Does find him. But so OMG just trying to collapse on this bottom half of the map. Baron buff is going to be wearing off soon. It's only on March as well. If it hasn't worn off already. So they can get aggressive here. Cool. Maybe too far forward, but there's the claw out. OMG continuing to pressure.
The biggest threat on this side right now for OMG is Cool, and they need to take him down, but here we go.
They're going in for Fishball as the first target. He is getting bound up, and XQ, he's going to get it. HYG now snared up as well as March is off on the other side looking for a flank. Cool. He just needs to pick his moment. 5 pops his ulti. He's going to move back in there. Now SMLZ is in for a little bit of damage, but God, S17 does not take that
Cool.
claw. Cool looking for the blow up. Doesn't get it. The Chum is juked there by Marshall Poise. Now 5 with no ult. He's going to go down. Lysandra ult to herself. March on the other side as XQ's going to chase in for Cool, and it's a massacre here. HYG, the only one left alive, but he'll go down soon, and a clean 8th from HYG as Gosu snipes it.
HYG never cease to never cease to impress me, honestly. These guys are just beasts. They get an engage on the Fishball, and he goes down immediately. Gosu's target selection with every single bind has been great. March just sits on the flank and is being a massive pest. And for some reason, OMG decide that they can turn this around and fight when 5 is just being a sacrificial lamb. HYG wait for the Alistar ultimate to go down before they get a flash engage from 17. And it's very easy to get the Ren resets. Cool goes down, everyone goes down, and all that's left is a big Cane Toad.
And Lysandra again looking great here as Fishful does eat a binding. HYG have just smashed through the bottom side of this map here as OMG have now lost the inhibitor on that side of the map. In fact, minions made it all the way to the Nexus turrets before being dispatched there by SMLZ. A minute and a bit up until Dragon. 5 towers to 3 right now. And the gold lead that wasn't looking too great before, now about 5,000 gold up for HYG. So it's not a massive lead, but again, just feels like every aspect of this game is in their control.
HYG just make good decisions. It's just that simple. They know when they can fight, and they actually do it. There's situations where Lux isn't hitting the combo that is required of them, so they kite back. Their communication looks great. Their target selection is good. And their rotations around the map have been great. Not even to mention sidewave control, vision. Like, they're doing it all.
They certainly are. And Cool's stranded in the top lane now, trying to get some farm, push that wave back in. And HYG are probably ready to thunder down mid lane now and get themselves another inhibitor. HYG going to eat some damage here. They actually might go in for it, but again, very tricky to kill this Tahm Kench instead. Going to pressure up this mid tower, and that's probably dead at this stage, although the wave clear is still there. Cool making his way back after a recall.
It's not far off dead, but knowing HYG, they may just decide to go for the Dragon for the sake of having it, because they might want 5 in the future.
Insurance Dragon. March eats another Q there from Lee Sin, but OMG at this point are stuck to wave clearing, and that bottom wave is going to start applying huge amounts of pressure fairly soon. You can see a big wave being built up as HYG take a pretty much complimentary Dragon.
Yeah, basically. I mean, there's nothing else to say about that Dragon. Just didn't want 17 to recall as well, you cheeky devil. I mean, they get the 3rd Dragon, it's all theirs. All they're really waiting for now on the side of HYG is a Thresh Hook or a Lux Binding. From there, just burst the heck out of someone, win the game from that.
Baron up in 145 as well. Plenty of poke here, so HYG can play under these turrets relatively effectively. S17 back to gardening duties. By the way, he's in the top lane. Going to be trimming that back and getting that pushing as well. And then that'll be HYG pushing 3 lanes. Baron up in a minute 30 and looking very good to close out this game.
Spooky Ghosts are just outrageous.
There are quite a lot of them in this game as well. This is sort of why we started seeing a bit more double AP, because that item is really good.
Yeah, the item's great. Honestly, there was no situation in any other patch where Lux was taking that pink ward without dying. But Spooky goes to reveal this tower is done.
HYG eats a binding. That's probably the only target, apart from Alistar with an ultimate, that they can't actually blow up, but they'll take it here. Is that 17? Actually just casually taken top. I talked about the Lysandra split push. I wasn't kidding. And that's going to set up this tier 2 nicely. HYG, great rotation here to the top lane.
And I mean, the problem with OMG right now is they just have to watch this happen.
Yep.
It's snowballing out of control. They're waiting on potentially an Ari Charm, or they need a flash engage from 5 on this Alistar. And HYG are spacing themselves so nicely away from their opposition that they're just getting the objectives and they're not risking being engaged.
Again, kind of like the last comp with the Ezreal here for Gosu. You mentioned that Lux and Ezreal do have some similarity, and it feels like a relatively similar comp. We still have the Lysandra. March has changed junglers. He's actually not nearly as tanky or as aggressive that he might be able to be on the Rek'Sai, and execution is absolutely there for this team.
Yeah, 100%, and I just feel like it's not there for OMG, and that's the biggest problem is I just named 2 engage options, or ways for them to initiate an engage, that should then be backed up by Fishbowl going in. But for the most part, all they're doing is having Fishbowl go in and then instantly regretting that decision because he can't kick them towards his team.
Again, it's looking like a dark time for OMG fans, at least at the start of this year in 2016. HYG, plenty of control around the Baron. And it's going to start it up. OMG have no good choices here, but they're probably going to have to fight. Oh, SMLZ going to get blown. Oh, he buffers the jump and gets out of it. Now Cool coming in there for Gosu. 5 goes straight in for it, and that's going to be a kill. Alistar collects it as Xiang dives straight into the backlines. Fate's Call going to have to be used and get that Thresh out of there. And S17 does juke the tongue lash, but Cool's still chasing.
That's
Tristana for you.
Tristana, you're an interesting champion. Xiang's not done.
That's actually nice, cancelling the recall for S17. Probably not a kill, as the claw does happen, but OMG now able to actually fire back and take some structures.
They're actually finding their way into this game. OMG, the teleport's down, and 5's gone in.
Great play there from Cool. Lands the charm, and the kick will finish it off. OMG have actually broken the mid inhibitor, but S17 ults himself. Now has to flash out of the way, and Glacial Claw out as the Buster Shot's going to push him out a little further. But we didn't think OMG were going to get into the base, and they've suddenly got a mid inhib.
It was as simple as finding a pick onto the Lux, as March and Shu are going to be a little bit too aggressive if they commit to that one. 1 inhibitor apiece right now for these teams. The Baron is available, though, to be taken, and no Kalista to be spoken of.
Well, 5 does not have his ulti up just yet, or much health. OMG are going to do the relative smart thing there, but a nice blue trinket is going to spot them. They're going to have to do something here around this Baron. They'll start clearing the vision, and HYG pretty much have to check at this point. Cool, going to go back in for it. Looks for Shu as the kill. They are going to land in for the combo. SMLZ is going to collect it. Good damage there from Gosu. They actually take out 5, but that's probably not enough here. There's the zone is going up, but he doesn't have the ulti. Does get the 4-man Ring of Frost, but Cool collects the kill.
And again, 2 more picks. Honestly, should not be able to secure them the Baron. The bottom lane is still pushing, and the inhibitor is respawned for OMG.
Ooh, good tag from Gosu. Does cancel a recall, but Cool made it back, and that's probably all they need. Ooh, maybe not.
It's getting very low. It's a lot of minions. Cool is not going to be able to stop it.
Oh, Gosu double binding, but gets eaten up as well. But here comes XQ. What are OMG doing? Committing way too hard. They are going to get the kill, maybe. D's going to get it. Flashes out. Young might make the big play, and he's just skirting off to safety. XQ can't catch him.
What are you doing, XQ? I mean, like, he had someone inside Tom Kench's belly, and he walked around the outside expecting a flash, potentially, but instead he gets completely baited by Xiang, and see you later.
Well, bottom hib also went down as well, so this game's gotten pretty crazy. It ended about this time last time here with HYG, but OMG have kept themselves in this game. The gold lead is back to almost even, with HYG having only about 3,000 gold or less in the lead at this point. And let's be honest, 35 minutes in, it's probably more about the items and the execution. Items are pretty much there, and OMG, they almost got gifted a way back into this game.
I mean, they really did. We're going to watch this again as well. Gosu has no right being killed here, honestly. Xiang does so much damage, and XQ's like, oh, he'll go this way, don't worry about it. Wait, what? I've made a mistake. and kind of regrets his decision. Doesn't get the kill that he was looking for. Fortunately for both teams, nothing was actually going to come from that.
And we've reset for another team fight. Waves are pretty even as far as the super minion waves go. Scuttlecrab is going to go to Hyper Youth Gaming, though, so they'll be looking good there. And Baron is still the big point of contention here. Dragon has actually been picked up by OMG as well, so they did get one earlier on. HYG have 3, but probably not interested in the next one that's coming up. It's kind of all about this Baron as Fishbowl going to eat some damage. Lockdown there as well. Flayed back into the team, and that's a good pick there for Hyper Youth.
Once again, they just catch Fishbowl out of position. He's trying to put some vision down himself. Instead, pays with his life. And this is the power of Lux, Thresh, and Lissandra. You cannot afford to be in a position where you don't have vision aggressively and then go down for it. They're going to go for the Dragon. They're looking at Dragon number 5.
I heard a ping onto Baron there by OMG. But they should have vision around it. Scuttlecrab's still taken by them, I believe.
Too quick.
Yeah, bye-bye, Dragon. Kalista's going to get it. Nope, Graves gets it.
I mean, the idea was definitely there. Know they're at Dragon. Of course, they're going to go to Dragon, so just do the Baron.
Yep.
Unfortunately, they don't have the damage to do so. Even if they committed to a fight there and they didn't ace, the bottom wave is massive. And this is also the inhibitor that you take if you want to do Baron. This is a power point right now for HYG because of that minion wave that Xiang has to answer, and his teleport's not up just yet.
And they've just reset mid as well, which was pushing in a bit from the inhibitor down there. So HYG, full control still of the area. There is a pink ward just in that brush that they haven't spotted. But they're able to see the wards in the bow. Ooh, not in range, maybe.
Oh my god.
Good ward there from OMG. Yeah, no range there. So they do know they're starting up the Baron, but Xiang, he's going to be very close on that teleport.
This Kalista Ren should have it.
Oh, he gets the steal! Goes straight in for Fishball and he gets away the Baron. Now SMLZ going to knock someone back and go in for it. He assassinates Gosu, but he's just in the middle of so many of them who hop out as the heal is going to save him. There's kills on the back as SMLZ is still shredding through people. And OMG, in another miracle, are going to keep themselves in this game, possibly even win it.
They should be able to win the game from this. They've got a minion stack in the middle lane.
There's the pod.
This should be game over. HYG.
Oh my god.
Oh no,
Base
here we
race
go.
time. S17, he's going for it. No one else could drive. No,
Ari's
cool.
back.
He did complete his recall. Shoo, I don't know if he can get anyone off this. He needs to stop SMLZ.
No.
Cool's taking out S17. That's going to be it. OMG. 2 back-to-back miraculous plays. Fishball with the Baron Steel is going to secure them the game. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to game number 3.
Desperate times call for desperate measures when you're HYG. And I can tell you right now that that was not a desperate time for them to force the Baron. It was a good time. They lost the Baron from a steal away from a Kalista Ren.
What did we say? It almost never happens that Kalista gets Baron stolen from her. But less than 1% is still better than nothing. And that's exactly what Fishball got there. OMG take game number 2 in very dramatic fashion. It took 2 pretty interesting incidents to win them that game. But when they did, and OMG really shining through with some experience there.
Definitely, and it comes down to a game that goes that late. You're looking at inhibitor apiece. You have to favor a very established org like OMG.